Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Investing Bros. It is Friday, June 16th, which means it's the last show of this week. But guess what, guys? On Monday, T-Shroom is going to be back. It's going to be awesome. However, though, we got one last show without T-Shroom, and it is going to be a good one. Guys, yesterday we had some breaking news from BlackRock that they filed for a spot trust. There were some false reports that it was a spot ETF. In this show, we're going to break down actually the difference between an ETF and a trust. But the big news here is that BlackRock is filing, and we have to wait and see, but more than likely they probably will be approved by the SEC. And there's a lot to unpack with this story. I put out on Twitter yesterday, though, what your thoughts are about this BlackRock news, and Bitcoin says a lot about how you view crypto. We will unpack that as well. I want to start off by saying, though, guys, Bitcoin is not the enemy. It is the things around Bitcoin and the people that use Bitcoin that can be harmful to the rest of the crypto space. I continue, though, to keep Bitcoin as my number one holding. However, stories like this with BlackRock, they have some concerning storylines and threads we got to pull on. So make sure you don't go anywhere. We're going to be talking about that and a whole lot more. Ethereum also has an interesting headline this morning about how it might be regulated. You got to stay tuned. We're going to have our TA as normal, but we'll get into all of those stories towards the back half of the show. So don't go anywhere. Go ahead and smash that like button. And if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. We're the Investing Bros. We come to you guys every single weekday from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are the most generous crypto community out there because literally 20% of every dollar that ever comes in goes straight to charity, and the rest goes straight back into making more content to help you guys understand what's happening in the markets, both on the charts and in the news, so that you can decide for yourself what is the best way for you to invest your hard-earned value money. And if that's something you guys love, you have found the right channel. I'm joined this morning by the Texas man, Mr. Army Piper. Piper, how you doing this morning?
Brother, I'm doing fantastic. It's Friday. Let's go. And
Let's do it.
yeah, just sitting here waiting to put this alpha out and talk to the community, and it's enjoy the end of the week. It's the final day. Weekend's coming. It's okay. So
It's true. You know what's crazy? It just kind of like dawned on me yesterday. We were talking about it around the office. Sunday, Piper, is Father's Day. And I
oh yeah, it
literally, like,
is.
right in, I'm going to get to celebrate my first Father's Day just by the skin of my teeth. Brody came in right after Mother's Day. So while we did celebrate Taylor for Mother's Day because she was already a mother, Brody wasn't here yet, and he didn't get to celebrate with us in person like that. But I'm
So
going
are
to
you
celebrate
telling
for
me?
the first
So
time.
are you telling me that a mom can be a mom on Mother's Day while the baby is still growing, but a dad cannot be a father on Father's Day until the baby is born? Is that what you're
I'm not
saying?
saying that, but I think there's a difference between, see, this is what we call entrapment. Piper's trying to entrap me right now. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there is a difference between the baby. Like, so this is really dangerous territory. When the baby's out and crying and with you and you're holding in your arms, I think is special to be able to celebrate those days. I'm going to go ahead and transition topics now before I say
Good call.
anything
Good call,
that
Tim.
could get me
Let's.
in trouble or
Well,
take
Tim,
me down a rabbit hole we don't want to
if
go
I don't
down.
talk to you, if I don't talk to you on Sunday, which I'm sure I'll send you a text message, but if I don't talk to you on Sunday, Happy Father's Day. It's
You too,
good.
Piper. Happy Father's Day. I'm sure.
Thanks. Appreciate it,
Knowing
brother.
us, though, I put the chances of us not talking before Sunday again at about 0.0000004%.
Yeah,
So
it's
yeah,
pretty low chance. So
pretty
all
low
right.
chance. Well, let's get transition here. First of all, before we get into it, Elo Brown just gave a super chat. Thank you so much, Elo. He said we can skip reading names today, Investing Bros. Oh, Elo, you wish. You wish we would skip reading names. Guys, if you don't come
Why
in,
would he want to do that? I don't even understand. Like, what is going on?
if you guys don't have any other reason other than you just love us to come in for early chat, you got to come in just to watch Elo Brown and a mellow fellow. We'll talk about that here in just a second. But first, we do have to share our quote of the day from none other than Michael Scott once again. And this one, I'm gonna attribute this one to Mr. CZ and what CZ is getting thrown at him. But this is a quote from Michael. This is just background. He's in a story. Some bad publicity hit his company, and he's making an apology video where he's also not wanting to take any blame. And he said, they're trying to make me an scapegoat. Shout out to you, CZ. They're trying to make you an scapegoat as well as this bad figure in crypto as the SEC continues to try to bring in more central bank friendly exchanges. Piper, what are your thoughts about this quote? Have you ever been a scapegoat?
Oh, I have. I have,
Yeah.
absolutely. There's some very toxic, poor officers in the military that absolutely have attempted to throw enlisted members under the bus for the sake of their own careers. So,
Hmm.
but I'm very outspoken, Tim. You know me well. I'm very outspoken, and
Yeah.
so I humiliated them
Ooh.
in front of their yeah. So
Well, one of
didn't
my
work
favorite
out well
things.
for them.
I love it. I mean, this goes into the details why I love The Office. Go back to the screen. Like I said, this is he's supposed to be apologizing in this video, but it turns into a "don't blame me," and then the printed out American flag that he tapes together with the 4 pieces of paper. If you don't love Michael Scott, something's wrong with you. And if you don't love my mouse just freaking out all over the
Love
screen,
the mouse.
then you haven't been watching
Love that
Investing Bros
mouse.
for very long.
Hey,
Goodness.
so just for the record, that printout of the 4 pictures to make the American flag in the background there,
Yeah,
um, you know how it looks like there's like a window frame in between it, like if you look, it looks like there's like a
kind of.
window
Yeah.
frame, like the 4, yeah. So I worked a lot of time in the Intel field. We work a lot of times in places called skiffs. And there's no windows, no daylight, locked away behind layers and layers of security and protocol, right? And
Yeah.
so we would print out pictures of landscape scenery and put them up, and it looked like a window, so we could look out the window at
Really?
something besides just the 4 walls. Yeah, seriously, we've done that. So that's what that reminds me of. You just gave
Hey,
me a flashback there. Thanks.
listen, Michael Scott's coming in clutch, even for the Piper. Well, let's go ahead and read Elo Brown's favorite part of the show, and that is the reading of the names. You know what I'm going to do here, Piper? Though I'm going to do this for a quick second. I'm going to have you even share my screen here in a second. We're going to pop it out so people can see with us as we're doing this. Let's see if I can zoom in here just a little more. There we go. All right, here we go. All the way at the top. I did not post a poll. Might post a poll again here in just a second. What the heck? Why is it not showing me? It did. Has there been so much chat? It's not going to let us see the top of the chat. Why is
That's
this doing this?
I think that's what is going on there.
Hold on. Should go off my screen real quick. That's an injustice to what? No. Okay. For some reason, it only does that with the pop out chat. Here, we're good. We're good, guys. We're getting into this. First commenter of the day. I just can't show you guys unless I do this. I guess we could do this. Boom. They can see now. They're going to see Inception here. A mellow fellow saying, not today at Elo Brown. Of course, this is in reference to yesterday, guys, where where Elo Brown came in with the disrespect on a mellow fellow. New rivalry forming. I'm loving it. You guys got to be here early to be a part of this. You can go ahead and go off my screen. Go back to ProCam here, Piper. Read some other names, though. Crypto Pew Pew Cruz coming in second place this morning, followed by third place Elo Brown, saying that there were some technical difficulties with his keyboard. Let me know in chat, do you believe that technical difficulties are to blame, or was Elo just slow to the draw? Let us know, guys. Mike Play is also here. We're only going to get a couple names today because we're already getting close to this 9:10, and we got to get into the show. Elliot Locke is here. Crux of Crypto is here. Ninja Glock is here. Crypto JMP. Gia S is here. ADA Ace. Cryptex. Joe Nickel. Crypto Alchemist. Eric Wallen. Let's see, guys. Danny G. And we'll get 3 more here. Donato Cabrera, Alejandro Lepe. Oh, that's a fun one. Alejandro. And then the last one I'm going to read here is OBC. Thank you to everybody who is watching this morning. If I did not read your name, which there's a lot of you probably did not read your name, I love you guys so much. It's just time to go ahead and move on into the details of the show, starting off with our economic outlook with Piper. Piper, what are we seeing this morning?
Today, Tim, first off, let me get back over here. There we go. We are looking at just today the Michigan Consumer Sentiment preliminaries. It's going to be coming out at 8 a.m. my time, so that's 10 a.m. Your time over there on the East Coast, and this is going to be showing what the sentiment is of the American buyer, the purchaser. So we'll see what that does. Not looking to see any much action off of this at all. What are you smiling for so big, Tim? You guys can't
I'm
see him, but I can see Tim, and he's just grinning over here. I don't know why.
I'm just laugh. I'm literally just reading chat, laughing at Elo Brown and a mellow fellow, and oh, it's good. It's good. It's a good Friday. Fridays are our go easy day anyway. I'm really excited just to kind of be here with you guys and relax. We got a lot to cover too, but I'm ready just to have a fun show today, Piper. That's why I'm
we,
smiling.
we love it. So next week, guys, we've got building permits, of course. Fed Chair Powell's testimony is going to be taking place 8 a.m. Let's go ahead and find out what this is. Um, Fed left the target, fund rates, blah blah blah. It is first pause. Policymakers. So he's just going to be talking to policymakers. Okay, that's good to know. So I'll look and see if anything comes off of that next week. But the big one next week, guys, is going to be over here on. I believe it's where is it? Oh, it's going to be on the 30th. It's not for another 2 weeks still. The
Mm,
30th that I'm going to be watching. That's the PCE. So
mm.
that's what we have there for that. Nothing major the next 2 weeks. So I think we can take a breath. Okay, take a breath, everybody. Let's look at Truflation. Truflation's neutral, 2.41%. Not changing at all. Still well under what the lying government says. And then over here too. By the way, thank you, U.S. government, for my monthly paycheck. I appreciate you. Thanks. Looking at the liquidations here, guys, last 24 hours, 56 million in liquidations, majority of those being short liquidations. So what do you know?
Hmm.
Looking here over Ethereum coming in with 9 million of that, 7 million shorts versus 2.6 million longs. And then Bitcoin, of course, 20 million of it is Bitcoin, $16 million in short liquidations, only 4 in longs. So a lot of people calling for shorts, and then did a little reversal on it there, a little switch up, and Binance coming in clutch with the win right now in 24-hour liquidations over Bybit and OKX. So there we go. That's what we're seeing on that. Tim, what do you have in FOMC news?
Awesome. Yeah, we got not a lot of updates, kind of similar to where we were yesterday. We're at 76.9% at this point, saying we're going to get another rate hike here in July. That, though, should be the last one of the year. September is saying we're going to pause and stay at that level. November is saying we're going to pause and stay at that level. And December is saying we're going to pause and stay at that level. So at the moment, despite the fact that Jerome Powell kind of insinuated that the thought is to end the year at 5.6, which would mean 5.50 to 5.75. They're not predicting that's going to happen. The CME Futures is predicting one more rate hike and then a pause. Does it even show me what the predictions are for the future? It's saying in January they're going to cut. So CME Futures does not quite believe Jerome Powell is telling the truth. We'll have to wait and see about how that plays out. You guys know who have been watching this show because we cover this now every single day. It's something we think is very important to keep up to date on. These things can change very quickly. That's why we cover it every single day. Let's move over to our Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. We are up a little. In case you guys haven't been looking at price charts, Bitcoin is back up above that 25.2. I'll discuss that here in just a second on the charts. But yesterday, after dropping to 41 into the fear, we are back up in neutral on the Fear and Greed Index, back to 47. Not necessarily the greatest thing in the world, though, guys, because even though we were just here a couple of days ago, the price of Bitcoin was a little higher than where we are. So now we're starting to see this thing where the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is moving back to the upside, but the price didn't make it there. Not that you necessarily look at the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index for divergences, but there is a little bit of a bearish divergence there. Doesn't mean that it has to fall. I'm just pointing out that's not as opportunistic as we would like it to be. I wish that we maybe hovered closer towards that 44, 45 level instead of jumping back up to 47. But it is time to go ahead and transition into our charts this morning. Oh, you guys get a little sneak peek of what I'm going to show you guys with that fixed range volume profile. Before I get into the charts, though, guys, a couple things here. If you guys are just joining us right now, we have over 100 people watching. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're looking at that title and you're saying, what the heck are they talking about? Bitcoin abandoning crypto? We'll go into detail about that in the stories. But first, we're going to do some TA. We've been doing this kind of consistently, especially since T. Schumer's gone. We're going to give you some Bitcoin, Cardano, Ethereum, and XRP TA. I'll probably take a look at the Dixie as well. But special shout out as we get into charts to Chart Prime. You guys have watched us use them. Phenomenal indicators, giving us amazing signals, not just with indicators like this dynamic reactor, reversal signals. They give us lines of support and resistance that are amazing. And they give us some of the most beautiful oscillators known to mankind. But they also have been massive, massive supporters of this channel. So if you guys want to support Investing Bros and you want a cheat sheet into trading, you guys are going to sign up with the link down below for Chart Prime. And I don't say this as often as I should, guys. With our link down below, you get 45% off your first month or your first quarter. If you just go to their website and purchase it, yeah, you can get a full price, and it's still well worth it. But with us, you get 45% off that first month, the first quarter. So that makes it even more worth it. So go ahead and go check that out over there. Let's jump in here. Before I look at Chart Prime stuff, let's just look at some traditional TA stuff I'm seeing this morning. Guys, we did see yesterday that Bitcoin kind of confirmed this falling wedge pattern. We actually discussed this a little bit yesterday because, yeah, this came in yesterday before the show here. Watch, though, as we're starting to rally back up here. Let's go ahead and pull up our oscillators. At the moment on the 4-hour chart, sitting pretty nicely, although we are coming right up there to the 0 line on our Chart Prime oscillator. Got to pull this down so you guys can see it. The Prom oscillator, we're sitting right there at the 0 here with our bands here as well. Money flow is starting to curve, though. We're starting to see, we see the band curving as well at the 0, but money curve is starting to come to the upside as well. So that could be a good sign. Also, we sat here. We got as low down to 13 on the RSI. Right now, hitting our head on 50 on traditional RSI. This, of course, is the RSI Prime, though, brought to you by Chart Prime, that makes it into candle bodies. To me, that makes it a lot easier and better to watch. Originally, last night, when I moved down to the hourly chart, I put this in our Discord that I was a little worried about what we saw flashing on the hourly chart. And I'm going to show you why actually this is no longer necessarily a concern to me. And I'm going to explain why. Let's look at these oscillators here on the hourly chart. First of all, just great signals. Double oversold. We got the nice blue. I don't even know what this was called. They're so, this is the thing about Chart Prime, guys. They update things so much, and they're doing such a great job of doing it. They don't even have time to let me know all the updates that are coming. And I don't even know what this blue dot is called right here. Piper, do you know what that blue dot's called?
Well, that's a green dot, Tim. And
I guess I'm colorblind. It looks bluish to me. It's like teal. It's teal.
It is teal. It is teal.
Okay,
but that is a reversal dot. And if you have a red one on top, it means a reversal to the downside.
Yes. The meaning is
and then if you have a yellow one, there's a very rare yellow one that will pop every now and then. And that normally tells you like there's a high divergence going along there. So
look, okay. Learn new things every
single day. So when you see that yellow one, it's money time. It's money time.
Eric Wallen says the circle of death. That's an interesting name right there. I think we'd have to, if the red one, we'll call the top red one the circle of death, Eric. We'll call this one the circle of life. Shout out to The Lion King. Lion King is a great movie. Loved it. Let me know in chat what were your thoughts of the live version of it. I, of course, grew up watching the cartoon. Anyway, back into the charts here. So last night
you're
here.
Such a baby.
I know I am.
Tim, my kids also watch Lion King as children.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I probably am the same age, if not maybe just a little older than your kids.
My oldest is 27, so and I love him. He's out in Houston, so
we had this overbought bearish divergence flash. So double overbought, bearish divergence. Our RSI was getting high. You guys can see the RSI peaked out on the hourly chart last night. What is this level? At about 80. I'm not getting it perfectly. 88 or so. That's very high. Anytime you get over 70, you're kind of getting into that overbought territory. You want to kind of look for areas, but flashing up above 80 and getting closer to that 90, definitely something to be aware of. So I commented on this last night, guys. So I'm saying, hey, guys, hourly chart looking very, very overbought. We could see reversal. Here's what I love seeing, guys. Look, the price really didn't drop that much. The price really, for all intents and purposes, just moved sideways. But everything with the oscillators dropped, and we came down the hourly chart. We're coming back down to test the 0 line. We came down and test the 50 on the RSI, despite the fact that the price just went sideways. To me, guys, when I see this happening, this usually is a telling of a reloading scenario where we're going to make another push on the hourly chart. Now, can we get crazy high? I'm not really certain. We have this purple line. I think that it's going to be interesting to watch what happens when we get back to that purple line. And let's kind of zoom back out here. Let's take down our oscillators and show you guys what's happening. Now, those of you who've been watching this channel, you guys know we talk about the traditional TA a lot. And one of the things you can walk away with, this is not perfect. It doesn't always happen like this, but more often than not, you get 5 waves. And then after 5 waves, you're looking for a breakout within the next 2. And this falling wedge pattern, yes, technically I draw it all the way back here because that's support, just kind of showing how far back the support goes. But the first wave really starts back here on May 25th. So we had our first wave up here. Boom. We've just set the opening of our falling wedge pattern. That is the first wave. We come back here. We touch support. Wave 2. Touch resistance. Wave 3. Touch support again. Wave 4. And now we're working our way back up towards the purple resistance level, which will be wave 5. And after wave 5s on falling wedge patterns, now we're looking for a breakout. And of course, traditionally, we see breakouts move to the upside on falling wedge patterns. They should be going like this. Let's take a prediction tool. Again, not that these always come true, so you got to keep this with a grain of salt, kind of. But let's just move an extraction point. We're going to keep it purple here, guys. Let's move this over and see where we possibly could get to. This could give us a price breakout at the lower end. It depends on how people read this. Some people go to where we touch support. That would give us a price prediction back up here to 27.3. Also notice that kind of puts us right there around the red level, that red line of our trading channel we have been in now for a long time. A more aggressive approach, which again, I don't think is going to happen, but a more aggressive approach would be moving this over to the breakout spot, in which case we're looking possibly closer above 28,000 back up to 28,200. Keep your eyes on those levels. So 27.3 to 28,200. Let's see when we pull up some support and resistance here in just a second what those levels will be. But that's kind of what we're looking at for breakout predictions on Bitcoin. Now, I want to pause right here because yesterday we talked about the fact that when we lost 25.2, that was a really bad thing. I want to continue with that thought, but maybe make one clarifying statement here. If you go to the daily chart, we didn't lose the daily closes. So while we had several wicks at 25.2, I will admit that I was wrong in the past. Probably should have addressed this earlier. So my apologies, guys. But technically speaking, we have candle body closes at 24.8. Well, we didn't lose 24.8. So maybe there's a little bit of a hope there. The other thing I did say yesterday was, guys, there's a chance that this is a bear trap, and we could see that play out. I wouldn't really confirm this is a bear trap, guys, until we were to break this red line right here. Then I would say, all right, I think this was a bear trap, and we're going to end up moving to the upside with massive movements here. But I did want to clarify that. I still, though, guys, am sitting in a very neutral territory here. I am no longer as bullish as I was before. I told you guys, there's actually a decent chance I don't think we break above 30K again the rest of the year, that we end up trading ranging between 30K and 20K. And that's because that 25.2 to me was so important. And of course, the volume supports that theory, guys. When we broke through, I talked about this yesterday. Just look at the spike of volume it took to break through it finally because of all the buy signals that were right there. So keep moving on, though. I want to keep going on into areas to keep your eyes on if we do want to see this bull rally confirmed, and we want to see confirmation that this was a fake out. Again, I want to see us hit the red, but let's look at a couple other things as well, starting with our fixed range volume profile. You guys got a cheat sheet of that earlier. Let's go back to April 1st. So we're just looking at Q2. I want to see, and this kind of gives us this very nicely, I want to see a combination of the breaking of this little peak right here plus getting back above the value area low of Q2. Of course, it'd be nice to also get above the point of control as well here. And those levels, point of value area low, 26,400. Point of control, we're looking at just about 27,000, but it's technically 26,900. The other thing I want to see using kind of more traditional TA, guys, you guys can see in this trading channel, we have had lower highs and lower lows. So we had the first high of 31,000. Then we come up here, we touch about 29.6. Then we come here and we touch 28.3. Ideally, guys, not only would we break this red line, but I'd love to see us break that flat level and set a higher high than right here at about 28.3. That's what I'm looking at right now on Bitcoin and saying we got to get above that level. Let's even take a look. I bet you they're going to see in Fibonacci, we're going to see that that is another significant level as well. Technically, it's right above it, but we're close to that golden pocket right there. Let's just go ahead and call it. Let's come down to the 0.5, 28,000. I want to see us break 28,000 and close candles above that. In that case, we're starting to get back into setting higher highs, not continuing lower highs in this downward trading channel. But keep an eye on that golden pocket around 28.8. 28.8 or so is where that golden pocket is sitting. Should be important for Bitcoin to break through. Let's move on though, guys. It's already 8:25, 9:25. It's 7:25 for Piper over there in Texas. 9:25 for me. Taking a look at Cardano, guys. So this is part of what we're talking about when we say that Bitcoin is abandoning crypto. Could we see, let me jump back over here real quick. Could we see this Bitcoin dominance, which at the moment is sitting back up at the high it has had for this entire year? Oh my god, not quite. I guess a couple of days ago we had slightly higher, all the way up to 49.67, but we're making another push on Bitcoin dominance with this BlackRock stuff we're going to talk about. Are we about to see this Bitcoin dominance chart not just take off itself, but are we going to see Bitcoin start to slip to the upside while Cardano and other altcoins are moving to the downside here? Very interesting stuff we have going on. Cardano's sitting here kind of boring, even though Bitcoin had a pump. Cardano didn't get the same thing. Now, we are sitting on a lot of support, but the same thing I said about, you guys remember when I was just talking about the hourly chart for Bitcoin and how I love the fact that even though we flashed overbought, the bands are starting to come back down, but the price is moving sideways. Guys, look what we have going on the 4-hour chart here with Cardano. We have the oversold flashes. We got super low. The RSI set up bullish divergence right here and came down all the way below 30. But now the bands are starting to come back up despite the fact the price is mostly just moving sideways. I'm not saying for certain that means Cardano is going to the downside, but I still am holding out. Guys, even if Cardano makes a small rally, maybe a push back up here towards 30 cents, which is a pretty long-standing sign of support or resistance. You guys can go back and see that. Look how many times we bounced on 30 cents before we dropped it for the original low, and then, of course, we just broke that low here a couple days ago. Even if we make a push back up for 30 cents, I'm still keeping my eyes on this range, guys, between 18 and 14 cents. This, of course, is going back out to the weekly chart. I think I talked about this yesterday, guys. In case you missed it, though, come on, go down. There we go. In case you guys missed the show yesterday, this is using the volume profile. We're going to go all the way back here, guys, all the way back to the low of the last bear market. You guys can see that point of control down here at 14 cents. Then we pull up our chart prime market dynamics, and I'm looking at support levels in the multi-time frame, and we got a strong daily long-term support level right here at 18 cents. This was a form of resistance back here in November of 2020. It was resistance back in July of 2018. It's a pretty significant area. People were calling for 18 cents back when we ended up finding support at about 23 cents or so. It's back in play, especially with all the FUD out there. And watch people with all this FUD coming from the SEC. I'm not saying it's true, and I'm not saying it's good. What I'm saying is I'm aware that the FUD is there, and now people have reason to start pushing their money into Bitcoin and watch Bitcoin kind of separate itself from the rest of the altcoin space. For Cardano, I do have a little bit of concerns there. Last thing I want to take a look at, though, Dixie is continuing to fall, guys. Let's move this down. Dixie's continuing to fall. We lost that 0.5. We're back below 102. I've been saying this for a while, guys. Watch us maybe triple bottom here at 100, but making that push down towards $98. Just because crypto had a little bit of a fall yesterday, it was not a victory, or the last couple of days, it wasn't a victory for the dollar. The dollar is still declining, which is proof to me that the crypto fall has nothing to do with the strength of the dollar at this point. It has everything to do with the FUD and manipulation coming out of U.S. officials like the SEC, Elizabeth Warren, Joe Biden, and many, many others. The difference is eventually crypto will win. I still hold faith in that. The dollar, sorry, you're not going to win this one. The dollar's days are numbered. Piper, I'm going to go ahead and throw it to you for our Ethereum TA. What are you seeing for Ethereum?
I'm seeing some chat first.
Ooh, okay.
Bev McLean said, Piper, where are you in Texas, El Paso? That is correct. He said he's in San Antonio. Long-time listener,
Nice.
first-time chatter. So,
Love
Bev,
to see
thanks
it.
for
Yeah.
jumping in and being active. Yeah. Shout out to you, man. Welcome. Did Jenny from the blockchain is here. You know, I got to give him a shout out whenever I see him in here. And then, who was it there? Indie Rock Crypto said, mad kudos for getting up early. I'm up every morning at like 5:30, 5:45, starting this with the bros. So I appreciate that support. And then who else was there? There was one other person in here that dropped in and said, something about following us. Yeah, so they said they just followed me on Twitter. I think it was Indie Rock Cryptos also, maybe. But anyway, yes, all the links down below. Follow all of us on Twitter. Follow all of us, or go to our Discord if you're not in our free Discord. I just wanted to push that stuff out real fast. Yeah, that stuff.
A little slip.
Me,
you know
me.
what it is you were trying to say he was talking about sitting down, guys, and sometimes lisps
Yes,
slip in. It's the word sit is really bad to have with a lisp.
it
And
is.
you
It is.
guys, what he was saying was sit down and continue to
That
watch
stuff
the show.
sitting down
Yes.
below. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So
Yes. 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 Yes.
that's it. Let's get over to Ethereum, man. Come on. Let's go up here to ETH, and I'll show you guys what I'm looking at on ETH. First off, this catch that we had over here, I'm on a 4-hour chart for Ethereum right now, and you guys can see this white line right here that we caught all of our support on. That is the 200-day moving average. So 200-day moving average there, giving Ethereum a little bit of support, bouncing us back up into the 382. To give you an idea of where we are on that with the golden pocket, it's going to be all the way down here, and that is what we're looking at for the golden pocket, platinum pocket, all the way down here. I have entries set to go in on all of those down there, but I think that as long as Bitcoin can hold a little bit, and as long as we get some of that alpha news coming from Tim here in a bit, we'll be okay. Let's go ahead and throw on the chart prime indicators here and see what we're looking at on here. I want my mats on. Got to drop the mats on. So here we go. Everything's still pointing to the downside on Ethereum as of right now. We do have the mats is coming down. That's the moving average trend sniper. It's a moving average on crack cocaine right there. Absolutely free from Chart Prime. Just go in, type in Chart Prime, all one word. You'll see moving average trend sniper. Fantastic indicator. Still showing us in the negative though. Dynamic reactor still down. Even the trend assist far above us right now. If we do get a pump up, I would be watching for rejection on that because that is how that thing works. It's a trend assistant and it is fantastic. We are starting to get a curvature here going on the oscillator ribbon. Um, just like you were saying with Bitcoin, starting to bottom out on the money flow, could start getting the curve there, but we are getting that trend on the trend fusion oscillator, getting a little curvature also, and it looks like we might actually see a push down, maybe a double bottom retest on this moving average. Looking at the prime ranges here, guys, and the predictive ranges. I mean, if you look at the predictive ranges and you watch the show, you know that we tend to trade in between these gold lines, this one here to this one here, with this being the 50% line in the middle. Right now, that bounce on the 50% line. So another level of support sitting right there in that range of 1625. Now, here's where it gets interesting because you were showing their trend line earlier there, Tim, and I almost called you T-Shroom. God, I missed that guy. He needs to come back to work. Um, and I was taking a look over here to see how it looks on Ethereum. On the weekly chart, you can see it right there. Look, touch, 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 touch. We kind of broke below it and pulled right back above it. So that shows me that this trend line, which has been a very strong trend line, is starting to weaken here, but not completely wiped out yet. So I'm going to be watching for this. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to put an alert on this trend line. I'm just going to right click on it. And you guys are learning something here. Ethereum, if it is crossing down over this only once, I'm going to put long trend support break. And now I will get an alert if we are coming down over that trend line, and it now has an alert on it. There we go. So that's how that works. Now you guys can have an alert there. Let's go ahead and jump over to XRP. Let me go up to 4 hours first, and then let's go to XRP. And then we'll take a look at that and see how that's looking. And then we'll get out of here and get into some news for the day. So looking at XRP, guys, getting we got that rejection off of that platinum pocket top band there perfectly. We came down, we tried to hold here, went down below. Beautiful retest, guys. Beautiful retest on the golden pocket, and down it comes. Right now, we're sitting below the 382, and I think we might be heading for 45 cents down here on the 236. Honestly, Tim, that's what I'm looking at right now. not looking great. So if you look at the oscillator ribbon starting to pinch right now, trend fusion definitely going to the downside here, and even negated our RSI primed. We got a little bit of an upside from it on the engulfing down here, but coming right back down into play. Let's go ahead and throw on the Market Oracle Pro and the Dynamics Pro. Show you what we're seeing here. Um, yeah, we still trend assist coming down. Dynamic reactors red. Mats is not looking any stronger on there. And there was one last thing that I wanted to bring up here. Oh, it was the long term fixed range volume profile. There we go. If we take a look at this fixed range volume profile going all the way back to this point here, guys, you can see right now we are at the point of control on it. So I do believe that we have some support here because of all the volume that exists at this level, coming in at about 46 cents. But don't be surprised if it does not hold that we come down to the 236 and probably even the value area low at 44 cents. So 44 to 45 cents, critical support on XRP, Tim.
Yeah, yeah. This is I'm sitting here, Piper, as you're doing all this stuff and looking through. I'm preparing for the market open, looking at the stock markets, and my brain is just flashing. I'm like, man, we're gonna have to have a whole different show to do stock market because there's so much here, especially when T. Sherm gets back, because he can go a lot deeper into this. But with everything we have to go through on crypto, and we need to cover those headlines as well. I'm like, how do we give the due justice to what's happening in the stock market that it deserves? But I'm gonna do the best I can, Piper, as we kind of transition here. Real quickly though, before we do that, we did have a super chat coming in from Elliot Locke saying, now that Voyager is going to allow withdrawals, 30-day unlock, how will this affect the altcoins? First time I've seen an exchange unlock funds. Going to be interesting. Of course, first reaction, anytime you see that happen, there's going to be some people that take profit and just kind of walk away. But I'd be surprised, Piper. I think a lot of people, even that take advantage of that, they're just going to go get their funds from Voyager and go move it onto an exchange or a cold wallet that they trust more. What are your thoughts? Do you think altcoins
I have
suffer?
a different I have a different perspective on that. I think they take their losses on what they have in there right now because if they're gonna sell it, they're gonna sell it at a loss
Yeah.
from what period.
Yes, they are.
I think that they pull it off and they go into less risk assets like maybe
Bitcoin and
Bitcoin. Yeah, that's
gold.
what I
Yeah.
think will happen.
Yeah,
That's
as I
what I
was saying
think
when
will
I was thinking,
happen.
yeah, I was as I was saying what I was saying, I was like, oh yeah, they could just decide not to keep them as altcoins. So I mean,
If you
that
had
continues
asked
on.
me If you
Good.
had asked me that 2 weeks ago, I would have not said that. But as of today, I
Yeah.
do believe people are going to look at the market bleed off, especially with Bitcoin dominance. That's why
Hmm.
I moved all my alts. I sold all of my alts. I don't consider Ethereum an alt for the record. I sold all of my other alts and put it into Bitcoin. So
Yeah.
I just and I'm not. It might be a little biased there because that was my decision, but I think
Mhm.
I make some pretty informed, analytical, processed decisions, and I think that some other people might follow that same trail. So
Yeah, and this is going to bleed right into it here in just a couple of minutes when we talk about the stories. Again, is Bitcoin evil? No, Bitcoin's not evil, but sometimes the way people use Bitcoin is a little bit bad, and it's like, man, are we seeing Bitcoin kind of abandoning the rest of the crypto space, abandoning altcoins, and kind of doing its own thing? We'll have to look at that here in just a couple of minutes, discuss that further. We're just gonna do a really quick look, guys. Green this morning in the stock market, S&P 500. We talked about this yesterday. Did break above this level of resistance, but look at that band. Oh man, I think that at best we're going to continue trade sideways. I don't necessarily think though we're going to see too much of explosion with the S&P 500 over the next couple of days. Sitting in a moment, I mean, look at the oscillators here. We're on the daily chart, guys. We're overextended. The RSI sitting all the way up at 90. I think it's time for them to take a little bit of a cool off. Let's look at the Dow Jones. I don't know if we're going to load and get our thing here. Look how sometimes with these larger ones have a lot of information. It's really hard to load all this stuff for a live show. But RSI definitely did load. We're coming in here. Don't necessarily have bearish divergence necessarily, but we're sitting above that 70 for sure. So we're a little overextended, of course. Okay, here we go. We're popping up here. We broke through our level of resistance. Good thing, but watch maybe a keel over and turn this resistance back into support. Looking at the NASDAQ, we broke resistance on NASDAQ a long time ago. We were in a rising wedge, and usually these break to the downside, but the NASDAQ said, screw that. We're going to the upside. But once again, guys, RSI, very, very overextended. In fact, this is bearish divergence here, guys. You guys can see the RSI peaks have kind of flattened out right here around 91, but the peaks keep climbing. Good for NASDAQ, guys, but If we're sitting here saying, gosh, NASDAQ's on fire, should we go invest in it? Ooh, no, this is the times that you might not necessarily sell just yet. You maybe want to see if there is an outside chance it keeps rallying, but I would not be entering any new longs in NASDAQ as it is massively overextended. It did ignore these two overbought flashes, but that doesn't change the fact that everything else is saying, this is an overextended project. Look, we're breaking even above that band. Good for it, but not necessarily if you're sitting on the outside. Don't FOMO into the NASDAQ. A reversal should probably be coming here very, very soon. Let's go ahead and transition here very quickly into community. And I did want to show everybody, we broke 3,400 on our subscribers here. So thank you to everybody who's a part of that. Although we still have a very long way to go. About 14 days left. We wanted to be sitting at 4,000 subscribers. Piper, it's hard to not feel a little sad. I don't know if we're going to hit it, man. I don't know if we're going to get to 4,000 subscribers. Unless people just start subscribing, making new accounts, subscribing, sharing with all their friends. It might take a little bit more than just the end of June to hit 4,000. What are your thoughts, Piper?
Tim?
Yeah.
Tim, great things come to those who are patient, Tim.
Well, it's true. It's true.
I need you to rub your earlobes and just say woosah, okay?
USA. Okay. Isn't USA? USA is one of the things they said in Black Panther too, like the up in the mountain, the big guy. I can't remember his name, the character.
I believe
name.
so, yeah.
Yeah. USA. All right. We're going to keep moving on here.
You're such a Viking, dude.
We're going to keep moving on here. Transitioning here very quickly, guys. We're going to go ahead and go into stories. A lot to talk about. The first thing I wanted to bring up, we're not going to go a lot of details here, but you guys do need to know about this. An enormous $1.25 billion USDT swap will be performed by Binance today. Do not be alarmed, though, guys. I think right here, Binance put this out on Twitter. After 9:30 a.m. UTC today, Binance will be swapping $1.25 billion USDT TRX for USDT Ethereum directly with the Tether team to ensure the stablecoin liquidity across all chains for our users. If you see any significant movements of USDT from our wallets today, that is why funds are SAFU. So people shouldn't really be that concerned. I'm sure when you guys are on Twitter today, you're going to see a lot of FUD because everyone loves to FUD Binance. Oh, no, they're moving stuff around. This is simply for liquidity purposes. Binance got out ahead of it and made sure everyone knew. Do not fall for FUD today if Binance gets put negatively in the headlines. Let's move on here into the big story of yesterday. Couple different things we're going to comment on here, but in case you guys missed it, BlackRock launches spot Bitcoin private trust for U.S. clients. Now, we'll have to pause on that for a second because people need to understand there were some stories put out yesterday by a lot of people that said it was a spot ETF. That's not necessarily the case. We're going to talk about that here in just a second, but you guys need to know it's a spot trust. Still a thing that's very bullish for Bitcoin and could be harmful for other people. If nothing else, it's harmful because of this. Come on now. Because of this word right here. It's BlackRock that did it. BlackRock, one of the most corrupt companies in the entire world. The amount of stuff that they own and that they want to manipulate is absolutely ridiculous. Let's read in the story, though. Despite the steep downturn in the digital asset market, we are seeing substantial interest from some institutional clients in how to efficiently and cost-effectively assess these assets, the company said. The move comes a week after cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase Global Incorporated said that it had partnered with BlackRock, which is a little weird because Coinbase has been partnered with BlackRock here for a while now. That was a big story here months and months and months ago. But anyway, we're going to continue to read here. To provide its institutional clients with access to crypto trading and custody services. Now, we're going to talk about this here in just a second, but Charles Hoskinson, of course, the founder of Cardano, chimes in on this, and we're going to read this article here. The crypto community was rocked by recent news that a division of BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, had submitted documentation to the SEC for the establishment of a Bitcoin spot trust. This development has sparked intense discussion and raised significant controversy among industry participants. Charles Hoskinson kind of chimes in here. The SEC and its head, Gary Gensler, are trying to flush out unworthy front runners and allowing the anointed, that is Bitcoin, to succeed. Recall that the Cardano token ADA is now suspected by regulators of being an unregistered security. Actually, I don't think Charles said that. That's just one of the things I had highlighted there. Down here is where kind of he responds to it. He responds negatively. Someone did reach out to him. If you know how to pronounce that name, because that's obviously a different language here, kudos to you. But he kind of comments and he responds to Charles. He said, it's not what most Bitcoiners want, but it's a really important step for adoption and recognition, not only of Bitcoin, but the crypto industry led by strong projects with fundamentals such as ADA, decentralized and effective, unlike Ethereum. So he's trying to say like, oh, don't worry, Charles, like this is good for Cardano too, because it'll bring in adoption and it'll bring awareness, and projects like Cardano will be benefited from all of this. Charles responded saying, I'm old enough to remember Mike Hearn and Gavin being driven out. I'm also old enough to remember Jimmy Song pushing for the U.S. government to ban all crypto except for Bitcoin. Sorry, Maximalists are fanatics, and that. Okay, sorry. Sorry, Maximalists are fanatics. Should have been a comma there, Charles. Go on. Get that English. Get that English coming on, man. Sorry. Maximalists are fanatics that want to harm us all. This kind of begs the question. Let's go to Brocam here really quickly, Piper. Is Charles right? Is this right? So we're going to see a lot of things happening here. There's going to be the Bitcoin maximalists screaming. This is where our title is kind of coming from today, is Bitcoin abandoning crypto. There are maximalists who love this. They love the concept of a big institution like BlackRock coming in and kind of, supporting Bitcoin. They're not going to be doing this for the other altcoins as well. There's some Bitcoin maximalists or Bitcoin lovers that are saying, oh, no, this is just front running. This, not front running. This is the support that we need so that things like Cardano can happen. Do you agree with that? Or do you think this is a maximalist move? And then that would begs the question, after you answer that question, is what does it say about people that support this? The fact that we know that BlackRock is an evil, corrupt organization. How bad is it that there are maximalists out there who are singing the praises of BlackRock because they're excited about the price of their Bitcoin going up?
Okay, so unpacking all this, let's go with the first question first here.
Yes.
We were talking before the show about, this is very possible. It's very plausible to see that, Bitcoin is an asset class. Are you invested in crypto? Yeah. What are you in? Oh, I'm in Ethereum and whatever. Are you in Bitcoin too? Oh yeah, I also invest in Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
Where Bitcoin and crypto are looked at as two different investment assets, very much like we see with precious metals. If you ask someone, are they in precious metals? They're going to first go over to the side of like coppers, silvers, palladium, platinum. Gold kind of stands out in its space of precious metals. I think that that's what we're going to see with Bitcoin versus crypto in the asset separation there. There's going to be this psychological separation there, right? As far as BlackRock being invested in it or doing the trust, yeah, I don't absolutely, necessarily trust BlackRock, but I will say this. If BlackRock has a trust going with Bitcoin and Coinbase is now custody of all of BlackRock's Bitcoin, it does give me a lot of hope and promise for Bitcoin and Coinbase being stable and not necessarily disappearing from the crypto space for retail investors like us. So
I think it's interesting. My thoughts about this story. Here's what we need to start off with. I'm gonna take my opinion out of it. This is bullish for Bitcoin, everybody. This is also somewhat bearish for the rest of the crypto space, and here's why. BlackRock is going to get approval from the SEC because BlackRock has their hands in literally everything. This is not the show we're going to go and do a deep dive into everything that BlackRock owns. But if you do not think that BlackRock has their hands in the pockets of a lot of your favorite politicians, then you're kidding yourself. They absolutely do. I do not foresee them getting refused on this whatsoever. They're going to get approved by it. And the fact is, even though this is a trust, if they ever want an ETF, I bet you they get approved on that as well. This is part of the larger movement that Gary Gensler and the SEC are doing right now to get rid of good faith actors like Binance and Coinbase, which again is kind of a weird thing because BlackRock and Coinbase have a relationship. Actually, in reality, when you guys go and if you were to use this BlackRock trust, you're actually going to have your Bitcoin stored on a Coinbase wallet. That's a different story, though. We'll talk about that here in a little bit, or maybe not even today. We might talk about that on a different show. BlackRock wants to have control, but I put this out on Twitter yesterday, Piper. I said what your thoughts are. I'm talking about everyone. What your thoughts are about this BlackRock story says a lot about how you view crypto. What do I mean by this? Are you in the crypto space Because you're tired of centralized authority controlling you? Are you tired of working extremely hard only to have your value stripped from you by someone else who has all the control? And you want a decentralized, free form of money? Is that why you're in crypto? Or are you in crypto to turn $5 into $10, $1,000 into $10,000? Are you just in it to make some quick money and then get out and then live a life and screw the rest of the world and screw freedom? I just want to have a lot of money. What is your thoughts about why you're in crypto? Because I guarantee you, if you are a supporter of this announcement, if you're a supporter and you are rejoicing and you're excited about this BlackRock adoption story, you are the latter. You are someone in the space who just came to make some money. And I want to start by saying, listen, if you are, own it. That's fine. All of us are in it to make money, but we're also in it because we're tired of the power. We're tired of the centralized authority stealing our value from us. A lot of us are here for freedom. And if you are scared of the story, that tells me you are in crypto because of that freedom momentum, because of that being tired of the government screwing you over left and right. And the reason this is important, because let's just say, for example, BlackRock gets in here and pumps Bitcoin up to $1 million, right? Guess what now we are struggling with, Piper? If Bitcoin flows to $1 million and BlackRock had a large say of that, BlackRock is sitting in a very beautiful position. Because guess what, guys? You have to liquidate your Bitcoin to use it. If you put your hard-earned money into Bitcoin to go up, you got to liquidate it to use it. Well, who are you going to give that liquidation to? BlackRock. Now BlackRock owns more and more and more and more. And the good news is that there will be some form of an incentive for them not to own too much, because the less decentralized Bitcoin is, the less valuable it is. But the fact is that BlackRock will be sitting in a perfect spot. We already have seen them stretch to try to own as much real estate and land as possible. They own as many governments as possible. And now they see the future of this planet. They see the future of value being in Bitcoin. And they're like, man, we have a perfect scenario to gain as much of that power as we can as well, to keep our corruption in all of these different countries. And that plan is to excite Bitcoin maximalists and others about the potential price action. But we're selling our souls for that price action by allowing and giving BlackRock all that power. We're going to continue to stay in the same place the world currently is. And here's the sad reality, guys. I'm not saying this because there's really anything we can do about it. I'm actually sitting here today, this morning, reading through this, thinking through this, just playing out the next 10, 15, 20 years in my mind. This is going to happen. BlackRock's going to continue to gain control. If we actually thought that we were going to completely eradicate the world of evil, corrupt supervillains, we were kidding ourselves. It's why, as much as I love crypto and I will continue to fight for the freedom of it and the cool aspects of it, and I will continue to drive on that stuff, you got to make sure, if crypto is your end all be all, you guys are going to get disappointed. I'm not going to go crazy deep on this, but I'm telling you guys right now who I am as a person, and this is what keeps me grounded. My identity has to be rooted in something other than my money. My identity has to be rooted in something other than things in this world that I have zero control over, and that includes crypto. For me, it's my relationship with Jesus Christ. For you, it might be something completely different. Maybe there's a different religion you have, but I urge everyone, as you're seeing this, yes, do everything you can, continue to fight for freedom. But at the same time, do not let your identity be so wrapped up in this is to where when this is lost, you get crushed. Make sure you guys are keeping everything in perspective and keeping life about what your true identity is. Like Tim Warren is not Tim Warren, the owner of Bitcoin, Cardano, Ethereum, and name all my other altcoins. Tim Warren is a child of God. He's the husband of Taylor Warren. He's the father of Brody Warren. That is my identity. My identity is not a Bitcoin holder or Cardano holder or Ethereum holder. Those are simply tools that allow me to continue to do the things that I feel like I was put here to do. I want each and every single one of you, if you have not thought about that here in a while, to start thinking about it. Piper, what are your thoughts about that?
You missed two things. You're also the nephew of Elizabeth Warren.
Okay, well, that's
And
definitely not my
you
identity.
talked about where your identity lies at, but you did not say anything about where the identity of your beard lies at. So, because we know that your beard is a separate entity from you and has its own identity. So, we're going to need you to figure that out for tomorrow's show, or Monday's show, I should say. So, all right, let's get back into the headlines, Tim. Let's wrap this out. Come on.
Let's do this. What time we got? We got 5 minutes left here. We're going to move on here. Really quickly, though, I did want to, in case anyone's confused, I might even actually, real quick, while I'm doing this, I'm going to drop this link in the chat for everybody. You guys can go take a look at it. Yeah, it makes it literally 198 characters. That was perfect. I'm going to go ahead and pin this so you guys can go see it. This is what a trust and ETF is. I highlighted some of the details. One of the main differences between ETFs and investment trusts is their structure. ETFs are open-ended, meaning that the number of shares available can increase or decrease based on demand. Investment trusts, on the other hand, are closed-ended, meaning that there is a fixed number of shares available. ETFs can be bought and sold on a stock exchange throughout the trading day, just like individual stocks. However, investment trusts are only traded once per day at the end of the trading day. There's other things in here that I thought were really helpful. Those were the main things. Again, I just posted this link. If you want to go read and educate yourself on the difference between ETFs and trusts, this is a great resource for just that. Let's move on to the other big story we have for today, and we might end up closing with this one. Let me just mention this one just in case we don't get to it. Hong Kong urges HSBC, that's a bank standard chartered, to support crypto exchanges. Continuation of what we're talking about, guys. China continues to get more friendly towards Bitcoin. America less. It's a weird world we're living in when it comes to the freedom of currency. But anyway, I digress. Let's move into Ethereum. JP Morgan says Ethereum could be put into a little delay there. JP Morgan says Ethereum could be put into other category by U.S. Congress. Other category? What does that mean? U.S. lawmakers could put Ether into a whole new other category. Let me zoom in here just a little bit for you guys so you guys can read along. To avoid classifying it as a security, but to protect investors, according to JP Morgan strategists. The United States Congress could either simply classify Ether in the same commodity category as Bitcoin or put it into a new other category with less burdensome regulations than securities, according to, okay, why does it keep saying it? Ryder, we get that JP Morgan is the one saying this. Stop saying it. It's according to them. It is possible that a new other category is introduced specific to Ethereum and other cryptocurrencies that are decentralized enough that cryptocurrencies could be avoided as designated as securities. JP Morgan strategist. This other category that would involve more restrictions and investor protections than currently envisioned for that's not envisioned, envisaged. I don't know what that is. Commodities, but less onerous than those required for securities. Did I highlight anything else? Yeah. Some SEC officials at the time had brought up concerns on the Ethereum mentioned in comments to the draft speech. The release document showed one comment, for instance, said that the fact that tokens are on a sufficiently decentralized network and are no longer securities creates a regulatory gap. The speech acknowledges that there is another category that the comment continued. It's not a security because there's no controlling group, at least in the Howey sense, yet there may be a need for regulation to protect purchasers. Oh, man, I highlighted more than I thought. Let's keep moving on here. Oh, this is where we're saying Ethereum could be boosted here. The Hinman documents are likely to influence the direction of the current U.S. congressional effort to regulate the crypto industry in a way that Ethereum would avoid being designated as security. If Ripple wins the fair notice argument, however, that would have implications for current and future SEC enforcements, as crypto entities targeted by the SEC would similarly argue that the agency failed to give them fair notice, the strategist concluded. So a couple different things going on in this article here. Love that one. Is true that if we've been saying that, though, if Ripple wins, that's a major win for all of crypto because precedence is set. What I'm interested here, and I want to hear your opinion on this, Piper. What are your thoughts about this? Do you like this concept of maybe maybe something between commodities or securities? Are you bearish? What are your thoughts about this kind of reference by JP Morgan?
Well, of course I like it, Tim, because the majority of my portfolio is Ethereum. However, taking out my personal bias from it, I still like it. And here's why. Because it lays down the foundation of how other cryptos can get out of that security realm. So, if you see the roadmap, you ever play one of those video games like racing games where you can see the previous race that you had and you can race your own shadow, and so you can see where you turned into a turn a little earlier or later, and you can adjust fire. This will give all those other cryptos that are trying to get out of that security lane the visual roadmap of how they do it and when they can actually start to make those moves based on that shadow car right before them. So I think there's some advantages to this. I think that this is good. Personally, I'm bullish on it. Crypto wise, for the rest of everyone else out there, I'm bullish on it too.
Yeah, I'm bullish on this for multiple reasons, and the story breaks down. I'm first of all, I'm bullish on a concept of restructuring the SEC. That's a great thing right there. And obviously, it'd be nice if we could just go ahead and move all of the crypto assets into the commodities category. But honestly, at this point, just regulation is needed. Regulatory clarity is needed. And if there is this other category, are they going to create a whole new section specifically for crypto that is decentralized, that they're saying, hey, it's not necessarily a commodity the way Bitcoin is? And again, that goes into our thought of like, hey, is Bitcoin and the rest of crypto going to kind of be put into two different boxes? It kind of currently already is, but even more so from a regulation standpoint. But what is that other box going to look like? Who is going to regulate it? So if it's not the SEC and it's not the CFTC, who regulates this other section? I do have some questions, but if you can tell me that this is going to keep crypto out of the hands of the SEC, I am bullish. I love hearing that. Not that I want to side with JP Morgan too frequently, but I hope that this strategist is correct and that we do see Ethereum and other cryptos avoid that SEC regulation tag. Guys, that's all we have for you in today's show. Thank you so much for joining us. On your way out, make sure you smash that like button. At one point, I think we had almost 150 people watching. At the moment, we're at 100. We only have 79 likes, though, so we definitely can get to that 100 likes before the end of the stream. This is the last stream of the week, though. Monday, T-Shroom will be back, and I cannot wait to get him here. If you guys are excited, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're make sure you're in our free Discord, hearing all that information over there as well. That being said, guys, you guys have a phenomenal weekend. Happy Father's Days to all of the fathers out there. I'll see you guys Monday. Peace.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor, the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news, got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.
Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros.